What's up, guys? This is Coach Donny from Elevate Yourself, where we change lives through volleyball, training, and inspirational content. Welcome to my volleyball commentary on the Tokyo 2020 Indoor Volleyball Games. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach, volleyball player, and personal trainer who provides volleyball tutorials, jump training workouts, and other cool volleyball videos. I've been having so much fun doing these videos and pretending like I'm an actual volleyball commentator, and that is really one of my goals one day, is to be a professional volleyball commentator for the FIVB, for the college games and professional matches. I just love volleyball so much, and I watch all these games anyway, so why not talk about them as they're happening live? So FIVB, if you're listening out there, I'm available for hire if you need a volleyball commentator. Make sure you check out the last match that I commentated on between the women's volleyball USA versus Turkey pool play match, which was a nail biter. It was such an intense, great game, and I'll leave the link for that video linked below. You can check out all my other volleyball commentary videos linked in the description box. For this video, I'll be commentating the Brazil versus Argentina men's volleyball pool play match. Let me know in the comment section below which game you would like me to commentate on next. Now let's get this Olympic party started. Here we go. Two very good South American teams, Argentina versus Brazil. Conte with the first serve into the net. That's alright, we talked about earlier in my other videos how your first serve is about establishing rhythm. So you don't want to take it too easy on your first serve. You want to pretend like you're already in rhythm. Toss it high and hit it hard. Lucas with an interesting two-step approach jump serve. Great save by DeCheco, the Argentinian setter. Easy dig by Lucarelli. And Wallace hitting those insane angles that he is known for. That was a little bit higher set for him. Usually he hits super fast, but Wallace has such a big hitting window. He's got some good hang time. And he's been playing with Bruno for probably close to 10 years, so he knows his setting tendencies. Lucas with another two-step serve. This one a little bit better. Great knuckle save from DeCheco. And you can play it beyond the net line. I think that was a foot dig from the Argentinian libero here. And Lima, the young 25 opposite hitter from Argentina, he has a really interesting wide approach here. He comes in at such a sharp angle, and he keeps the swing high. You see how his arm is following through away from his body, almost like a no-look swing. So Brazil did a good job closing the block, but when you hit high into the hands are not strong enough to control the power of a spike here. Easy hand pass from Leao, the Cuban player. And quick transition from Argentina. And that's one thing you'll see from Argentina. One of the few teams in the world that can play just as fast as the Brazilians here. And Palacios, one of their heavy hitters. You can see how his body is a little bit thicker. Age 28, 1.98 meters. Really good height. So Argentina can match up a little bit physically with Brazil. And you see how Bruno makes a quick look at the defense, and that's a great sharp angle dig from Palacios. And we talked about that quick step close from Lima. He comes in at an odd angle and he opens up towards the court, making it really difficult. So you see how he's going to come in at a sharp angle on his approach. He opens up towards the court, and it's really difficult to read that when someone's coming in one direction and then hitting another direction. Very deceptive player. And I believe he was on the national team in his teens, 17 or 18 years old. I remember seeing him playing in a World Cup event. So only 25, but lots of international experience already. Great jump throw from the Argentinian middle. And Isaac. Look how high he reaches here. His whole chest is above the net. And he's already super tall. See how Isaac jumps behind Bruno, allowing Bruno to see him. So middles, if you jump too far in front of the setters, on a quick attack, it's hard for the setters to truly see where you're approaching from. Great, well handled by Argentina. Is that ball in? We'll see if they call a replay. Argentina continues to point into the court. The official review, and part of the ball is in. That's been a huge game changer from the replay system, is seeing the ball compression. You might be wondering, on the camera it looks out, but what the replay system is measuring is ball compression, and that has been changing so many calls that people used to previously call out. His jump serve is a little bit straighter approach and too fast. We talked about many times how the best place to serve is in between two players here. You see how he serves right in between Lucarelli and Thales, the Brazilian libero there. So usually when you're passing this way, the priority should be passing seam left. Even though it is a little bit to the right of Lucarelli, I would like to see the libero take Lucarelli's deep left here. And quick D-ball, great dig from the Argentinian libero. Quick transition from Palacios, easy dig from Thales here. Bruno running fast to Isaac, but it might be a little bit beyond his reach. You can tell by the sound that it has a little bit of a pop sound instead of a slap sound. And I love when the liberos, as soon as they dig, Donny, as soon as he digs the ball, he's already yelling at his teammates to cover and get the ball, because he's going to work hard on defense. So Lima with his third serve already. Short trickler, well handled by Isaac. And sharp angle hit from Leao. Can they keep it in play? Yes, they can. Thales owning the court on that free ball. And another ball owned by Donny here. Short tip, but slap back down from Isaac. Another short transition. Can Leao finally put it away? No, he is struggling to put some extra heat on the ball. And stuff block from Isaac and Bruno. Look at this. They are diving into that angle. Great read. Even Leao is reading that angle there. So that set was a little bit inside for Lima, and that forced him low and into the angle. And Brazil makes a great read. And I love how the teams are talking so much before the play, talking to the front row and back row, talking about defensive schemes, trying to plan ahead. Leao with the signature high toss, heavy jump serve, a little bit trickler off the top of the net, and Palacios tries to go sharp angle again. He's shaking his head, telling his coaches that do not call the replay because there was no touch on that block. And players need to be a lot more honest in this era, because we have the video replay system, and you only get 2 challenges per set. And I believe they're trying to serve Palacios. Oh no, they go to Conte, who passes the ball well and gets punished on a great pass there. That's Conte's first swing, and almost just as fast as Brazil. That's a fast bic. But when you see Brazil run it, they run it on another gear, almost like a back row 1. And Conte has played in Brazil. He's played in Italy. He's played in so many countries. He's such a fantastic player. And I believe he's played in Poland too. Fast swing. Look at that, how quick that back row set is to Wallace. Wallace has an interesting approach. He kind of jumps like a hop versus a traditional 2-step approach. He almost has like a jump stop approach, but he's so springy that he can do it. Age 34, so he's definitely one of the veterans, but he's been looking the same age for the last 10-15 years. Easy tip red from Bruno here, and a little higher set from Wallace. And Wallace, one of the most frustrating players to play against. He changes the rhythm. So the blockers, they look like they were on their way down, but they were well timed for a hard hit. And Wallace just takes off a little bit of power and goes soft into the hands. And sometimes just disrupting the rhythm of your blockers is good enough, even if you hit into the block. Look at that broad jump from Isaac. Great pass from Conte here. And he gets rewarded again. And I believe they've been calling this all Olympics the power tip. They've been letting this go for a long time, but I think FIVB has been realizing that it's actually a carry. And so let's hope that the referee calls it both ways, because that was not the case against the USA versus Turkey women's volleyball match here. Isak with another high toss here. Takes a little bit off. Well handled by Palacios. DeCheco setting a little bit off to Lima, but Lima does a great job staying behind the ball. And his last two steps, you see how he shortens his approach a little bit and doesn't broad jump as much. And he still has great vision. If you jump under the ball, you can't see the block because you're looking up. If you jump behind the ball, you can see the ball and the block and make a better hitting decision, just like Bruno Lima does so well. Tough serve into the net from the Argentinian middle there. Really great pattern on their uniforms. Not used to seeing non-solid colors. Like you see how Brazil has solid colors. Argentina has like this floral pattern that looks really great. Another great pass from Conte. Are they going to reward him? No, they get Palacios in from the back row. So Argentina has been trying to get Palacios into this game here. Even though he has not been as successful offensively, I think DeCheco, the Argentinian setter, is really trying to get him going because he knows he's going to need Palacios in the doing well in the match if they have any chance to win. And DeCheco, the team captain, playing his professional volleyball in Italy for many years, and the unbeatable connection between Lucas and Bruno here. See how he jumps a little bit away from him, and I'm not sure. He just landed a little funny on himself. Lucas 35 already. Now Lucas and Bruno have been playing together since they're in their teens. So almost 20 years together. That's why their connection is so great. Lucarelli, also an Olympic champion. By the way, if you don't know, Brazil won the last gold medal in 2016 in Rio. Wow, great commit block here. Lucas reads the setter and he jumps at the same time as the middle. And Soleil, Argentina's best motor, he has a great cutback. He always likes, okay, that one he challenges the angle. That's rare. Usually Soleil likes to cut across his body. He waits for the blocker to make a move and then lets the ball cross his shoulder and then cuts back. We'll see if he does that during this match against Brazil here. Another dribbler, but great save from DeCheco here. Free ball handled by Thales. And wow, great block from Soleil. Soleil is also a fantastic blocker here. We'll see who can claim credit here. Conte is celebrating loudly here. But look at DeCheco pancaking the ball off the dribbler. Oh, Conte dives huge into the angle. And Conte being only 6'4", 6'5", Leao being 6'7", 6'8". The height advantage goes to Leao, but Conte with better blocking technique. Heavy serve. One-handed set from Bruno forces a tight pass. That's a rare error from Bruno. Even if it's tight, Bruno is great in any situation. Considered one of the world's greatest setters right now. Not too much concern from the Brazilian coach. Still tied game. Early set number one. Conte on a short serving run here. And he serves just out. Most teams will probably serve Leao. Leao is the weakest passer of the three. He's still a great passer, but between Thales and Lucarelli, most teams are going to target Leao. We'll see if that happens during this match here. Lucas serving again and going for that deep area one serve. Palacios keeps the swing high into the hands, and Lucarelli goes for the fake pipe set. And easy recycle from Wallace here. And look at how fast they run Lucas and Leao. So look how Lucas is running the back row quick. And Leao does a great job tooling the outside edge of the block here, going across his body. That's one of the best ways to tool the block. Face one direction in the angle and go across your body and point at the edge of the block there. You'll see that a lot from Leao. He's great with his power, but also with tooling the block.
You need to know about how Lucas is feeling about that serve.
I think Lucas has hit the top of the net a couple times. Struggling. He's a streaky server. It's not true topspin. It's a little bit drivey, but it's hit or miss with Lucas, and it's been like that for almost his entire career. Soleil, with his downward jump float, pretty solid, gets Lucarelli in trouble, and out of system swing from Wallace, who knows what to do with it. And he tries to joust into the block, and he tells Lucarelli, that was a great set. I usually win those here. Can he wipe it? Okay, so he just tries to tip it over the block. But when you have Lozère and Palacios, two big men on the block, you got to tip even higher or try to joust and recycle. Soleil with a fantastic jump float, but well handled from Lucarelli. Wow. Okay, look at Wallace. He is facing into the angle, and then he rotates hard away from his body on the top left of the ball. Very few people can contort their body like Wallace. I actually don't recommend doing that if you're for the average volleyball player. Wallace's body is built to do that. Most people's bodies are not built to do that, and the shoulders cannot tolerate that, but Wallace has been doing it for years. DeCheco, also a fantastic setter. He's a veteran on the team. He has such a soft touch. He's probably one of the most deceptive setters. Sometimes he gets a little too creative, and the hitters can't handle the sets that he gives them. But you'll see it throughout this game. He, with one hand and two hand, he even likes to bump set the middle, which is rare. Heavy serve from Lena here. Oh, Palacios should have put that down right away for the easy conversion. But Argentina converts on that free ball. So it looks like Leao was a little bit late to this block. So even if your feet are late, your hands need to be pushing over on the way up. So it's okay to have your hands and feet out of sync, especially when Argentina is running their offense so fast. Can Lehman serve it in the seam again? No, serves it to the Brazilian libero. And another fantastic dig from Palacios. Can Palacios convert? He gets slowed down again from the Brazilian block. And Wallace a little bit off speed, trying to throw the rhythm off. And that's what we talked about. The quick trick transition from DeCheco. So Wallace tries to roll shot it a little bit, but Donny so good. And a little bit low set to Lozère, but because it's deceptive, it catches Brazil off guard. So sometimes deception with a less ideal situation can produce a point. Now they're immediately going to the double sub. Usually they do this if they want a little bit more blocking. So I think Bruno's actually been blocking pretty well. Palacios has not been able to get a kill when Bruno's front row. So maybe Brazil's just trying to get a different rhythm going. And they feel like their hitters are not converting. And Allen, former MVP of the 2019 World Cup. One of the leading scorers. So very little drop in performance between Allen and Wallace. And heavy jump serve, force an overpass there. Great transition, good one-hand dig, and Conte with that slide attack. But I believe that was outside the antenna. That's why Argentina is arguing. I don't think you can replay the antenna when the ball is played outside or inside the antenna. And what a smart play from Conte, running that back row slide, and Brazil completely caught off guard, no blockers up. And when Brazil's caught off guard, you know you did something right. Brazil, the best team in the world at the moment. And heavy jump serve, overpass force from Brazil. Quick transition, sharp angle hit from Conte. Conte is one of the fastest outside hitters. I love his style. Look how quickly he gets on the ball. And beautiful set from DeCheco. So Conte is already almost on his last step. Not as fast as a middle quick, but it is a third step approach. That means that he's pretty much on his third step by the time the setter releases the ball. Oh no, we see here it's a second step approach.
It's a fabulous use of technology.
So middles will do a third step approach where the setter will contact the ball on their last step. At this level of men's volleyball, the offenses are so fast that they are doing a second step approach where they are on their second step by the time the setter contacts the ball here. Palacios takes off a little bit from that jump serve and forces another tight pass. And Fernando clapping his hands in a little frustration, trying to get something going on his Brazilian side, asking them to pass a little bit better. And Lucera, great commit read when it's that tight and the setter is forced to set with one hand and a straight elbow. Usually it's going to go to the middle. And immediately Brazil unwinds the double sub. Interesting substitution that they would bring Souza back in. Isak already with a few points here. Maybe they want to bring in a little bit blocking. Maybe Souza has a little bit better of a blocking read, because Argentina has just been running their offense at will. But I would say the issue comes from the Brazilian passing. They're passing too tight or too off. They're unable to allow their setter to get comfortably set to run the offense. So that's a much better pass from Thales. And hard, heavy swing from Lucarelli. Argentina's playing lights out defense here. And Lucarelli is so smooth. Lucarelli is currently playing in Italy. Age 29. What's amazing about Lucarelli is he had a torn quad during the 2016 Olympics, but he taped up his leg and he was able to play with an injured leg. That's an amazing story. Probably half of it was playing in his home country and feeling the support from his fans and his home countrymen. Fast arm from Lucera. I've not seen Lucera very much, but I am very impressed with his athletic ability. Usually Soleil is the one that is getting most of the kills, but Lucera is just dominating. And when you have Decheco as your setter, one of the most accurate and deceptive setters, you'll see Decheco, he kind of holds his neutral position really long and then flicks it out there at the last second. He doesn't give away his set very much here. Easy jump flow, and Leao handles that pretty well. Fast transition to Wallace, and dug by Lucera here. And look at that tempo. So Soleil runs a little bit of a slow middle, and he does a great soft block there. A little bit slow middle, but just over the shoulder, so fast, so accurate. Conte gets a clean line, and Bruno just does his best. That was not a bad blocking move from Bruno. It's so hard to read when the set is that fast to the outside if it's going to go to the middle or the outside there. The Checo running their offense to perfection. But this is only the first set. You can never count Brazil out. There's a reason why they're one of the best teams in the world consistently for the last 20 years there. And Bruno with a solid serve, but Conte has been passing so well this entire match. Is that in? Brazil's pointing in, and you'll see Lima, he jumps square to the net and hits straight ahead. He's more of a traditional opposite in terms of his hitting mechanics. Wallace, he's got his own thing going on. Wallace has a shorter approach. He does a little hop jump at the end with both feet, and then he contorts his body like a gymnast. That's a hybrid serve and great pass. And Lucarelli one-on-one, you're not going to be able to stop him. Lucarelli has an interesting approach. He's a big broad jumper, both front row and back row. And Conte knows that he made a bad read and he's trying to recover. And he reads that angle hit at the last second. So he posted a little too wide on Lucarelli, and Lucarelli sees that. A lot of times hitters are actually looking at the blockers' bodies for information, not just where their hands are. So he saw that Conte was posted a little bit wide. Wow, look at that pass from Lima. And that creative set from Decheco. Decheco's not even squared up. He's facing Brazil, and he does a little side set. And Soleil does that signature, let the ball cross his body, and then do a quick cut back. So difficult to stop from Argentina, and we'll see a lot of that type of attack from Soleil. He waits, lets the ball cross his shoulder, and he cuts it across his left shoulder. You might think, why can't middle blocker stop that? If you try to commit to that too early, he's just going to swing to his right. Short serve, way to get Leao out of that rhythm, and Bruno tries to get the same connection going with Lucas, and he shows Argentina, I can do the same thing with Lucas. Bruno also facing the net in that transition, and he does a quick side set to the Lucas. A lot of it is trust and chemistry. Everyone has their tendencies, and middles tend to go certain places, and once setters know your tendencies, they can run you at anywhere on the court. But that requires a lot of playing together. Conte, fantastic pass here. And Lima just trying to keep it in play because the set was a little tight. But Wallace, another contortion, off-rhythm dig. Can Conte get a swing? Oh, he plays it. He keeps it in play with a little bit of spin. Souza with a set a little bit inside from Wallace. And a rare error from Wallace. Wallace is usually pretty terminal out of system here. Argentina playing even better defense than Brazil. That's hard to do. But one thing that's signature with South American style volleyball, fast offense, fiery personalities, and lights out defense. Japan has more of a disciplined technical defense. South America just has a crazy, hard working, fiery defense there. Pass off the net from Leao. Can Leao hit himself out of this? No, they have a good read on him. And Bruno having to side set again. Palacios with a great late move. I believe he dives on the angle on this one. What a dominating performance from Argentina, but can they keep this up throughout the entire match? So Leao with the first serve. They're starting off, last time Lucas was the first server. See if they're going to get something going with Leao's serve. He's actually been serving pretty well this match. And Souza in for the start over Isak. Haven't seen him do too much during that last match. But I think Brazil's just trying to get a different chemistry going. And Soleil, the first server, he's got a really great jump float. It's got such a downward angle, even giving Lucarelli some trouble. Lucarelli is so good at hanging and banging. He hangs in the air, waits for the block to go on their way down. And usually the block is going to be the weakest on the way down. See how they're falling down, and he gets it just in their hands there. He aims high, flat. If you want to aim high and flat, you do not want to snap your wrist. You want to keep your wrist slightly bent so your palm is facing forward, and you can line drive it upward into the hands there. And quick throw from Palacios. Those are really tough to dig. You might be thinking, gosh, why can't Leao dig that? It's a slower ball. But for the power tips that are right in the middle of the defense, that's usually the weakest point of most teams' defense. Why do defenders don't put anyone there? Because that is usually where the blocker should be taking away the hardest hit. And most teams are playing perimeter defense. That means they're digging hard balls around the block. So the sacrifice is you're going to leave a hole in the middle of the court there. That toss was a little bit too behind him. He needs to toss that more forward and keep it on his right shoulder. You see how Lima was forced to cut it too sharp across his left shoulder, and he was under the ball. So those two bad situations there. But that's okay, because Lima was a big reason why they had a big lead in the last match. He had a great serving run there. Bruno usually has a really solid serve, but he takes a little bit off of that one. And Palacios getting into this match with his first kill of the set. Aiming high flat into Wallace. Wallace posting well, but the swing is just too high. And Palacios hitting 4 kills on 10 attempts. Not bad so far, but they're going to need him to hit even sharper because we know Brazil is going to come back with fury. Thales, great pass. And is that in? The baseline judge hesitated, but the sideline judge called indecisively. And Argentina should replay this one. Argentina pointing, saying that ball was out by a foot. Yes, it was. A little look of disgust. And he's looking at the line judge, asking them, why the heck did you call that in? Now this was a good take from Thales, the libero, but Lucarelli, like a disciplined passer, was trying to cover him, and he had a transition from inside all the way outside. That's such a long distance, and it's very difficult to do here. And Lucarelli, that's much better. Roll shot dig. Tough one, and DeCheco wondering why was that ball not dug better, because DeCheco did slow it down. And Lima, the opposite. Most opposites are not known for their defense. Sorry, all the opposite hitters out there. We know you guys are the cavemen of the team. Hit, block, serve, hit, block, serve. In all honesty, playing defense is a bonus for opposite hitters here. And that sharp one-to-one serve. Great cover from, and there we go with that one-handed creative set from DeCheco. But Bruno comes back with his own creative move, and Lucas just goes anywhere. This is very similar to the relationship between Kageyama and Hinata for those Haikyuu fans there. Lucas just goes wherever he wants, and Bruno somehow finds him. Once again, it goes back to tendencies, but also it's years of playing together, and then middles, setters can actually hear your steps, and they can estimate the location where you are if you call the ball, and also if wherever you're approaching, they can hear your footwork. Lucarelli has been playing really well this match, but if Brazil wants to have a chance to even come close to Argentina, Argentina had such a great performance during the last set without Palacios. So Brazil, they need more production out of Wallace, out of Leal especially. They've been blocking Leal. Surprisingly, Leal is such a big, imposing hitter. And there we go. That's what we're used to seeing from Leal, even against a two-man block. He jumps so high, he contacts on top of the antenna, and he swings so high into the seam there. So Soleil a little bit late on closing the gap with his arms, which is rare because that was not a super fast set. So Soleil maybe just needs to get his feet a little closer or reach across into the seam earlier. But so hard to time on that one. Look at that one-hand back set from DeCheco. Looks just as good as his two-handed set. Look at this here. Stiff hand. He points and finishes towards his target. And Lima does a great job staying behind the ball. And that's a textbook swing. Jumping square to the net. Following through straight ahead down the line. No rotation needed. Just all arm speed and approach for the hitting power there. DeCheco, he also likes to be tricky on the serve. Sometimes he'll do a short serve, jump float, a little bit of topspin. But the sacrifice of being tricky is it can be a little inconsistent at times. Wallace not known for huge serving. Part of it is because his mechanics. He kind of does a... Okay, his jump serve mechanics are a little bit more traditional there. Okay, great save by Brazil, but free ball transition usually easily put away from most teams, but Lucarelli reads that really well, and Bruno just a little bit off with the setting so far. A little bit off for his hitters, and that was a great look from their young opposite hitter, hitting in the seam here, opens up towards the target, and hits right in between Souza and Leal. Leal not closing all the way with his feet, and what great vision from Lima. That's really hard to see. Usually when teams are putting a triple block against you, it usually means that the set is higher and out of system, which just makes it difficult to actually see the ball and the block at the same time. But Argentina not losing a step. Bruno from Brazil having trouble with setting consistency and location, and his hitters are just struggling to really put their whole body into the ball there. That's a better set to Wallace. And Wallace struggling. Usually he has so much control that he is able to roll shot it right on the line or do a soft roll shot here. We'll see if Brazil makes another early move, because Argentina already has a 2-point lead and it's 8-6, and there's no sign of them slowing down here. This might be one of the best Argentinian teams in a while. We have a combination of young talent, but a lot of veterans here. Look at that sharp angle, and Palacios digs that like nothing. Good adjustment from Lima, because that set was a little bit low inside. And Wallace does a great job recycling. And does he tool the block? Even for some of those simple plays, Brazil continues to play really tight, and they pass tight to the net there. Because Wallace does a great job. Oh, look at that fantastic dig. Palacios just sitting on the 3-meter line in the angle, and Palacios does keep the swing high on the overpass. What a smart play. And Argentina earning that side out here. Conte with a fast serve. Another tight overpass from Brazil. A little bit frustration clap from Leao. And now Palacios is in the game. Now Brazil is in trouble. That's what you expect from most high-level teams. When there is a free ball sent over the net, usually they're going to convert pretty easily because there's going to be one blocker for every hitter when an in-system offense. Douglas coming in. He's a super sub. And rightfully so. Leao has been struggling passing-wise. He's been shaking his head. Not because he got subbed out, but I believe it's because he knows he's just been struggling. He's usually on point. And Douglas, when he comes in, he makes a huge impact here. We'll see if he gets set first. Yes, he does. And look at that first kill off the bench, and Bruno sets some tempo, but off the net. So Bruno needs to get his hitters a little tighter to the net, because Douglas was a little under that ball, but because he's such a smart player, he's able to tool the block. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Fernando in for Bruno if Brazil continues to struggle here, because every hitter's struggling. Wow, look at that dig from Wallace. But so Argentina actually runs more of a traditional pick. It's not as fast as Brazil, but when you have such an effective setter like Pacheco, you can be deceptive and use the middle as a decoy, and Conte runs like a back bick. So there's usually 3 types of bick attacks, which is a back row quick. You have your B bick, also called a 30. You have your pipe bick, which is down the middle, and then your C bick, which is called a 40, at least in the USA system. That's a much better set from Lucarelli. You see how he's able to stay behind the ball and put his whole body behind it. You know, I don't blame Bruno for having trouble getting to a setting rhythm. Because the Brazilian passing has been so inconsistent, it's really hard for setters to get into a setting rhythm. You might think, well, they just have to get their feet to the ball and just set wherever they are. Every skill at this level requires rhythm. Blocking rhythm, hitting rhythm. And if you're not consistent in performance, you can't establish a good rhythm. Great high swing from Palacios. And quick transition to Lucarelli. And Bruno once again with a good pass. He's able to run the offense. He keeps it right on the net for Lucarelli and beats the block there. You see how the block is pushing over after the hit. You have to finish your block as they're contacting the ball or right before. Otherwise, there's going to be a big hole between the block and the net. And that's what we call a waterfall. The ball waterfalls down in between you and the net there. And great angle swing. Keep your eye out for Lima's approach. I wish they would show it a little bit more. It's a little bit interesting. He approaches really sharp, almost like a 45-degree angle, and he opens up. So this prioritizes the angle. And so if I were Brazil, I would take away his angle hit. That's going to be his favorite hit. Solid pass, decent pass from Douglas, and Bruno's able to get Lucarelli in his hitting window, roll shotting. That's what we just talked about, where when you roll shot, I mean, it's a little bit deeper, but it's still somewhat in the middle of the court. Everyone's on the heels expecting a very hard hit. And so Lucarelli does a great job being so deceptive. And Brazil only down by 2 points. They are hanging on by a thread here. Can Bruno get something going with his serve? Conte with another great pass in a row. And Palacios slowed down. But when you have Lucarelli in system, he is nearly unstoppable. One of the best outside hitters in the world. Look how quick that transition is. And Lucarelli crushes it in the seam. And Conte with a great read with his body, but not a lot of topspin on that ball. So the ball's not dropping as low as he's anticipating. That's one thing you'll notice about some of the hardest hitters in the world. They're hitting so hard and fast that the ball doesn't even have time to spin. They should stop serving Conte because his passing near perfect. I don't remember one pass that has not been perfect here. Look at that soft touch from DeCheco. DeCheco does a great job. Excuse him. Commentating 5 games in a week has been taking a toll on my voice here, but I love it. I love commentating these games. We'll talk about DeCheco's setting in the next play here. Let's watch this current play. Another misconnection between Lucas and Bruno. Ooh, well set up block. You'll see how Lucarelli, his hands are finished. His hands are finished. You see how they're still by the time they contact the block. He's finishing. Oh, he takes away that line too. His hands are not moving. Conte saw the line open, but Lucarelli just kept his hand there, and his hand was stronger, or his arm was stronger than the block. That was Conte's first bad pass, but Lima keeps the swing super high, and DeCheco keeps his team in a good hitting rhythm, even though the pass was low and off the net. I would say the main difference with this match is Argentina's passing and setting. Brazil, on paper, actually has slightly stronger hitters, but Brazil's passing and setting, which usually work hand in hand, is not as consistent as Argentina. And a team that has good ball control always has a chance to win. Lucero tosses that ball a little bit low. I'm not sure why he changed to a topspin serve. I thought he did a jump float during the first set. And Brazil is creeping up. They're only 1 point behind. But Argentina looks a little more confident and fluid still. Wow, great one-handed save from Soleil. Oh, DeCheco in the way of Lima. Lima could have put that ball away out of system. Does Douglas get a touch? So that's a pretty good swing from Douglas. He's trying to aim high off the block from a tight set. Now Bruno got Douglas a little bit tighter than he wanted, and Douglas was trying to aim high into the hands with the flat swing. But the risk with that type of swing is because you are aiming out, if you don't hit the block, the fingers, it's just going to be straight up out. No chance of it coming in. Great pass from Douglas here. And that signature jump hop approach from Wallace where he jumps straight up under the ball, almost like a beach approach. See how he hops into it? He jumps straight up. And this is that signature Wallace, jumping straight up in his window. What's interesting about Wallace is he likes his sets a little bit tighter than most hitters. Because he's not a broad jumper. He jumps straight up under the ball. So he's able to maintain the same space, but he likes the tool. He likes to do crafty things. Great high hard swing from Lima. Now in that play, he probably wasn't aiming because the ball, it was out of system. He's just trying to get good timing looking up at the ball. But when you swing high and hard, good things happen. And DeCheco keeping the set still in some type of rhythm, even though the ball was passed a little bit to the left. Conte's been consistent with his serving. No aces. Great serve into the seam. Keeps the pass off the net. And that's a great swing from Douglas. Tomahawk move from Conte, but a little tight on the set there. And is that block in? No. Great deception. Is Argentina going to use a challenge? They should use a challenge. They have not used one yet. Just out. I would challenge that one too because you have 2 every set and you have not used one yet. Why not? Just in case. A little bit of frustration from Soleil. He knew he had that one. He is a great blocker. Even when he's late, you'll see him seal the net with his hands. You'll definitely see more of Soleil from his blocking throughout this match here. Interesting hand pass. Surprised they didn't call that one a lift, and I know that Brazil is going to argue this one. And is Argentina going to call it? Did they call a touch? Yes, they did. Great call from the reffing staff. And you see how Palacio, you see how intentional that was. His eyes were looking at the block the entire time, aiming towards the shorter blocker. So you'll see Bruno is actually the shorter blocker in the front row. Most hitters will try to challenge him more because Souza is huge and Lucarelli is a little bit bigger. Souza, he has an interesting arm swing. It's really loopy. You see how he brings his arm down and then does a big windup. Then he brings his arm down and he cycles through. So he has a little bit of a slower arm swing, but very difficult to read. Excuse me. And he's got a pretty nasty jump flow. But Conte, they need to stop serving Conte. High line swing. Brazil does a great job taking away the angle. I wish they would show the angle of Lima's approach. It's so interesting to watch. And he goes away from his body. And he keeps the swing high. What a disciplined player. He's been doing that since he was 18, 19 years old. I remember watching him. He had the high swing. He had great range. So he's been coached really well from the Argentinian national team coach. That's what we're used to seeing from Bruno and Lucas. This perfect connection regardless of where the pass is. This pass is on the 3-meter line. And Lucas does a great job staying behind his setter there. Oh, Lucer. You see how deceptive that is. Lucer did not expect that set coming. And he's late to the block. Solid pass from Lucer. And he comes right back with his own kill. And DeCheco, one of the chillest setters. This is such an interesting contrast. Because we see Bruno, who's so fiery. And then we see DeCheco, who looks like he's about to fall asleep. He is just so chill and so calm. And I think that's a great contrast to the other Argentinian players that are so fiery. Douglas passes well off the net. A little bit lower and slower for Wallace. But Wallace does a great job handling that one. And they need more blockers than that. When you get a good bump set and you see a hitter approaching hard, Wallace and Lucarelli get caught watching the play, and the only one involved in the block is Souza. Easy put away at this level here. Smiles all the way around, and great support from the Argentinian bench. And Argentina has a very, very deep bench. I think they're wiping away a little bit of sweat there. And Argentina's got a solid front row with Conte and Soler, so two of their best attackers front row. Running fast. And another shutdown from Wallace. Wallace is just struggling, but I think Bruno's just not getting him where he wants, a little bit inside there. And Wallace does a great joust. Bruno trapping him inside and tight. That's the worst place to be. If it's inside and it's off the net, at least you have a chance to hit around it or over it. But when it's inside and tight, it's twice as bad to force your hitters into that situation. I'm curious. I think they're challenging to call the net here. Let's see what the review says. No net call. Look at that second joust from Lucer. That was funny. DeCheco loses the joust. The ball's going over the net, and then Lucer is able to tip it on top of DeCheco. Okay, I believe this is a good sub. Bruno is still one of the best setters in the world. He is so consistent. He gets his team in good situations. But he has not been setting well this match here. And looks like that challenge cooled off Palacios. Fernando trying to get his team going. I love it. When you come off the bench, it's usually because the team is struggling. So you have to add a little bit more than what you're used to get the team going. The team's already down mentally. And they were so close. They were only down by 1 point at a certain part of the game. We'll see if Brazil can get into their 2016 gold medal form. And what a solid pass from Donny. High, deep swing. That is a textbook swing. Staying open to your setter. swinging high into the deep corner. The way you swing deep is you contact more behind the ball and less on top. Mauricio, a veteran on the team here. Look at that, age 32. I believe he was on the gold medal team as well from 2016. We'll see if he can make an impact. I love the changes that the Brazilian coach is making. They're just trying to get some type of different chemistry going, see what else they can get from the other players here. That's a much better set to Douglas. You see how that was set on the 3 to 4 foot line. And Douglas stays open to the net and swings to the right. Look how high he's getting. Wow, his whole chest is above the net. He's one of those he's kind of like Wallace, where he's a little bit noodly. Okay, Allen, even though he's an opposite hitter, he's going in for Lucas because they want to get Allen's serves going. And maybe this is a way to warm up Allen for the next set. Sometimes coaches will do that. They will have him come in late just to serve and also to get some defense. Lucas not known for his defense. Ironically, most opposite hitters are not known for the defense either, but Allen's defense is actually pretty solid. He's an all-around good player. Great serve. Can he get a dig in transition and make this sub worthwhile? No. Argentina handles the ball so well, and when they're in system, they are unstoppable. Conte with a fantastic pass. Brazil needs to start serving Palacios. He is the weakest passer of the three. Are they challenging again? Yes, they are. Easily in, but Brazil should use all their challenges to slow down the game because it's a 4-point game, and we get another way to slow down the game. Brazil calling a timeout. And Argentina ready to serve from Decheco. He's not known for his serving runs, just consistent. Let's see if he keeps it in. And another great swing from Douglas. Like I said before, remember how I called him the super sub? Probably would start on any other team. But when you have Leao and Lucarelli, you're probably going to start behind those two. Those guys are just on another level. But Douglas, there's not much of a drop. Let me just say that. And Wallace here, struggling to get something going both on his serve and offense here, and he knows it. But to Argentina's credit, they've been putting so much service pressure on Brazil in set 1 and 2, and Brazil just does not, they cannot respond here. And that's something we're not used to seeing for Brazil. Brazil is known for a great ball control team, fast tempo offense, and they can run fast tempo because their passing is so good. But Argentina must have been studying so much video on Brazil, serving the right spots, hitting the right areas, blocking the right hitters. Great pass from Donny here, and look at that set from Decheco. Decheco has very fast feet, probably played a lot of football in his younger years. Can they? I want to see the replay here. Soleil does his signature wait, and then goes across his body. Looks like they're not going to play the replay. So Brazil continues to start Wallace. I'm surprised they didn't make that change because he's been struggling. Fernando is in for Bruno. He's been having a better connection from the hitters. And Decheco with the high set. And great dig from Fernando here. Wallace, first one, that's his signature tool. And Leao back in for Douglas. Even though Douglas did so well, it's always interesting how some coaches, it's just different coaching philosophies. Some coaches are hardcore believers in their starting group. And others treat their group as 1 through 12, where whoever's going to play better at that moment is going to get a chance to start the game. And I thought Douglas did a fantastic job. I think he should be in the game. Tough serve from Lucarelli. Another one-handed poke save from Decheco. And great pass from Lucarelli. And finally, Leao gets his swing going. He hits these crazy hard angles here. Look how high he jumps here. Super high above the net. He also has a big windup, but a fast arm. And he just hit so hard. Chenko got caught playing left back defense. That's not his usual spot. But because he had to do the rundown save on the bad pass on the left side of the court. Now, Brazil's been doing a good job not serving Donny. He's only received probably 3 to 4 balls, and he's passed all of them great. But they need to start serving Palacios more. I believe that last serve was toward Palacios, because Conte is just as good of a passer as Donny, the Argentinian libero. And Lucarelli also has an interesting serving approach. We'll look around the next time, but he starts off the court and comes in at an angle, which fascinates me so much because he's a left side attacker. You would think that he'd want to serve more on the left side to simulate his left side hitting angles. And Soleil been serving so well so far during this match. They target Leao. And Fernando surprisingly has a better connection so far with Lucas than Bruno. They run kind of a push one, and Lucas shaking his head, not sure why. Maybe he's just frustrated still as to why Brazil's not playing to their best ability. And Lucas with his signature two-step approach, jump serve. Again, serving at Conte. Not a good serving choice. But Argentina makes a rare error out of their middle. So Brazil already to a much better start this match with a few Argentinian errors and better offensive play and passing from Brazil. Let's see what they're arguing. Maybe the coach is going to see if they touch the ball on the block. This is an interesting delay here. Two-step approach. And there we go, Palacios with the tight pass. And great dig from Chenko. Can they get it in? Oh, that's one of the toughest swings to hit when the ball is coming from behind you. You have no way of seeing the block, and you see how Palacios has to look up at the ball. The libero should have set the pipe or all the way across the court, because at least it's going across somebody and you can see the block. But when it's coming from over your head, you cannot see the block there. And I love Bruno. Look at him. Even though he's not starting, he's getting his team pumped up. That's a true team player there. And Lucas has been much more consistent this set. Wow, Brazil up 5-1. This is the biggest lead of the entire match. Look at that pass there from Conte there. One-on-one, Palacios against Wallace. Usually not going to work very well. When you pass that well in system, that just means it's a perfect pass where the setter can set all 5 hitters comfortably. They're not forced to set one hitter or the other. But that's what happens when you serve Conte or Donny. They're going to pass well. They need to continue to serve Palacios. Lima serving right at the libero. Not a good serving choice, because then you give Wallace a great set to play with. So you see how tight this set is. Wallace does a 1-2 hop jump, and he jumps straight up just like a beach approach. Look how tight this set is. And this would not work for most indoor players, because most indoor players are broad jumping a little bit. But Wallace jumping straight under the ball and able to maintain good spacing between the block there. I'm not sure why they would serve the libero there, because then you get a tough hit or a free ball. Can they get Lucera in the game? They run Palacios again with a sharp angle hit. And you might be wondering where Leao was. Leao was reading the setter, or trying to read Chenko, thinking that he was going to set behind him. So Leao stayed on the net, and that's what left this sharp angle open. And Palacios also likes to hit that sharp angle. So if I were Brazil, I would try to take away a little bit. If I'm a middle, I would try to drop my left hand a little bit more to take away that sharp angle. That's more of like a running approach. Interesting from there. Great pass. But Lucera is there early because he's reading Fernando really well. You see how the middle... Oh, look at how they finish the block as he's contacting the ball there. Boom. I wish they would show Fernando setting the ball, because I think Fernando had to give that set away a little too early. He was leaning forward. The pass was low. Lucero knew exactly who was going to go to, and he got his block set up really early. And Argentina not serving nearly as well this third set, giving Brazil a little bit of hope because they brought it back already to a 3-point game, a 7-4. Leao, can he target Palacios? Yes, he does. He targets the seam between Palacios and Donny. So you might be wondering, why are two people crashing? Usually when the serve is serving left, you're going to pass the short right seam and then the deep left seam. So that was the right passing move from both Donny and Palacio, but the ball was just dropping too fast. Remember, Leao is 6'7", and he jumps really well. But you cannot serve Donny because then you get that. And Souza looking across the net, he tends to do that, not because he's talking trash, but I think he's just thinking, gosh, what the heck just happened? For him, it's almost like a form of respect where he kind of smiles at the players if they do a good move. Or he's looking at them in frustration like, what just happened here? But so far, Fernando doing a much better job running the offense. Jump float, that's what we're used to seeing from Lucero. That was a telegraph dig there. And no coverage. That was a high swing from Conte. And was that blocked from Fernando? Yes, it was. Look, he's so much smaller, and he seals the line. And Conte does a good job targeting the smaller blocker. But Fernando just makes a better blocking move. I'm surprised Conte... Okay, I know why he didn't hit the angle, because he was trying to challenge the smaller blocker. I think that was a good hitting move, and he kept it high. Brazil just made a better blocking move there, and that's good. They finally target Palacios. You see how he forces the ball off the net. But Lima with a laser down the line. His hits do not have any topspin. These are very difficult to read. So Lucarelli does a good job closing. Gives him just enough line. And Lima, just as effective back row as he is front row. Pretty tall player, 6'7". Good pass from Lucas. And hard hit from Wallace. That's what we're used to seeing from Wallace too. When he's not tooling the block or doing something slimy, he is crushing the ball, also with not a lot of topspin. You can hear the sound. It's like a thud when he contacts the ball. And Fernando making a huge impact. You know, for all these top teams in the world, part of the reason is because they have good starters, but also because they have great bench players as well. So their practices are competitive, but most importantly, when they come on the court, there's a very minimal drop in performance. Sometimes the subs play better than the starters. And that's the beauty of sports, right? You can't be on your 100% game all the time. Otherwise, sports would not be exciting. There's that human factor in here. Conde, can they serve Leao? Yes, they do. They force him in a bad situation here. Bump set to Wallace. Wallace usually... Oh, wow. Force bad one-hand set. That free ball should have been handled so much better. You're not going to get a lot of those from Brazil. And Lima with his signature wide approach, facing the angle. Look at that. Not super deceptive. Brazil gets their block set up. Oh, but right in between Lucas's hands. That's actually a good block from Lucas. Lima got a little bit lucky. That's exactly how far your hand should be. Just enough for a ball to squeak through. Because that's not going to happen too often. Conte can... Oh, okay, he's trying to serve Leao again. Even for the jump floaters, they need to continue to target Leao. Lucarelli, one of Brazil's top servers. You see how he kind of starts off the court and he comes in at an inward angle. And I love how Lucarelli hits. He puts his whole body into the ball. Serving again to Donny, too good. Rare error from Soleil. I think that set might have been too low. Or maybe too fast. Let's see what the slow motion shows. So no slow motion there. Brazil ahead by 4 points. Lucarelli with a solid serve. But he needs to serve Palacios down the line. But instead, he serves Soleil, who passes it really well. And Decheco goes right back to Soleil. Lima tries to challenge a well-formed Brazilian block. Look at how Leal gets an early start. He reads that. You see how Leal is moving before Decheco sets. So that means they read Decheco on that one. And as a result, they were able to set up the block really early. What a great read block from Leal. So that last block is very rare if you can read Decheco. I would still say him, Muruf, and Bruno are some of the most deceptive setters in the world. And so when you can get a head start on those setters, you know you've done your job. You know you've read a magician there. And Lucarelli needs to target Palacios down the line. There we go. See how the pass is off the net. Forced to back set again to Lima. But Lima makes the swing even better. He keeps it high. He knows he dropped the ball a little too low against Leal. But he keeps the ball high there. High off the hands. What a smart play. Only 25 years old. 15 points. 15 kills on 23 attempts. What a great hitting percentage. Soleil probably going to jump float all the way across. Trying to get Leal to pass the ball. Oh no, Lucarelli. Look how great that pass is. And when you serve Lucarelli or Thales, Brazil can set their offense at will. Great finish from the setter. And Leal has a whole court to hit through. So he hits that soft line, lets it go across his shoulder a little bit. No, he hits over Lima. Wow. When you're hitting over a 6'7" opposite blocker, you are jumping very high. Solid pass from Donny again. Oh, that was an interesting play off of Conte. And if Argentina scores this point, they're going to celebrate hard. Do they score? Oh, I think it might be high off the block here. What a hilarious play. Are they going to replay? Yes, off the block. And Conte runs the cover in the air. That's some next level training there. Great swing from Leal. Now we're used to seeing this from Leal here. Brazil with a very comfortable lead. 15-9. We knew that Brazil was going to respond at some point. You don't become the top team in the world by falling over when pressure hits you. And Palacio with another angle kill. They need to force him to hit a little bit more line. And Pereira in the other opposite hitter. He's also big and physical. And Sanchez, one of my favorite setters to watch because he's close to my height. I think he's actually shorter than me, 5'8". But this is hope for all the short players out there. If you're good enough, you can play at the highest level. Wow, great dig from Donny here. Back set, miscue from De Souza. Free ball transition. Can they score? No, misconnection to Lucer. Wasted opportunity, and Donny cannot control the heat of Brazil. That was a great view. So Argentina is doing the double sub because they're trying to get a little bit more blocking with Pereira in for Decheco. And that's what we call the 6-2. We have the setter coming in the back row and the opposite coming for the other setter in the front row here. Or they might be doing this to change some chemistry. Great pass from Palacio. And fast transition from Conte, easily dug by Thales. And Lucarelli made the read to the left, but the block, it ricocheted off the block. So Souza, he's a little bit late to the block. He's doing a react block. And Sanchez very deceptive, making the middle blocker wait so long before setting Lucer. And another great performance from two players coming in off the bench. Wow, good read block from Conte there to read the Bic in that transition. And solid block, but Leal with his swings, he knows how to swing high and higher off the block here. So that was a great block setup from Lucer, but when you're swinging that high and hard into the block, look at that. Very well formed block, but The hands are rarely stronger than a hitter's spike. Rare error from Donny. Free ball transition. They're probably going to convert on this one. No, the set was a little bit too high for Leao. And Conte tries to keep it high into the block, but gets blocked to the angle. And Pereira not fully loaded in transition and lets the ball drop too low, hitting into the net there. And the gap continues to grow bigger for Argentina. Maybe the coach is just giving him his two players some rest for the fourth set, knowing that this set might not be winnable. But so impressed with how Brazil, being dominated in the first two sets, coming back to dominate in the third set. Heavy serve, well handled by Donny. Did Brazil get a touch? Pereira also with some good size. So Brazil maybe only has one or two players taller than Argentina, but the rest is a good size matchup. That hasn't always been the case for previous Argentinian teams. So not only are they big, but they're also very skilled and athletic. And Lusser changing to his topspin serve. I don't know why you would change between the two serves mid-game. Usually you want to stick with one serve, unless you're one of those deceptive servers that can change it mid-air. But why change two completely different serves in a game, especially when the jump float has been in at least, right? You're not going to be in there for scoring aces. You want to be in there for consistency if you're a middle most of the time. And there's that cutback from Soleil. I love watching the cutback. I wish they would show more replays of it. And it's so hard to stop this type of spike. They do not show the cutback. We need more replays here. And Sanchez, front row. We have the main disadvantage as a short volleyball player, especially if you're a setter or a hitter. Libero doesn't matter as much, but you become a blocking liability. Now, it's not to say you can't be an effective blocker. Your technique and timing and vertical have to be exceptional. But we'll see Brazil probably try to hit over Sanchez more. Oh, they're going to call... Brazil is going to try to argue the lift here. But the ref is handling this game really well. Yeah, you know, that was just the same as the first lift that they tried to call in the first set. I think they're going to have a net challenge. The referee is doing a great job managing the game, not letting the arguments get too out of hand, just shutting them down quickly and just moving on. So I guess there was no touch. Argentina with the serve. Conte just consistent and in. And great tool. You see how Brazil, we knew they were going to try to attack Sanchez on the block. That's going to be Brazil's best matchup. But are they going to unwind? Yes, they're going to unwind the double sub. Just so Sanchez does not become too big of a blocking liability. But he did such a great job coming in and setting. I mean, he's a fantastic setter. There was no drop in their offense when Sanchez was in. That's what we're used to seeing from Donny there. And Brazil reads the cutback. Surprised that was not called a double. And Lucarelli coming in to single-handedly shut down the play there. I love the fire. Lucarelli just takes over this play. And great bump set from Fernando. And Lucas just watching the ball. Look at that. He's trying to get out of the way. And Lucarelli doesn't care who's in the way. And I would be just as upset too. This is probably the second call that Brazil thinks they missed. They think they missed the lift call. And they think he missed a double call. I think that was a double. You know, but so hard to make these calls when things are happening so fast. But also, that's why these guys get paid the big bucks to stand up on the ref stand and manage these very difficult games with difficult personalities. That's a pass too far to the left from Conte, and another power tip. So the ref looks like he's not going to call the power tips anymore. And Brazil does a good job just moving on. They've already been issued a yellow card. They know that they have a comfortable lead. And if they focus too much on the ref, it will detract from them finishing this set. They need to win this set. Float serve handled well by Lucarelli and crush by Lucas. You know you've hit the ball hard when the ball hits the ground before you land. So running more of a push. A push quick is where you're drifting intentionally and drifting to force the blocker to take one side or the other, leaving a big opening on the other side there. Great serve aim, just out. That was actually a great serve. If you're going to miss, that's how you want to miss. And Lucas knows he's calling the ball out for himself. Doesn't want to waste a challenge. But is the Brazilian coach going to challenge here? He's going to try to get every point he can. That was in. Wow, great challenge. Even though even Lucas thought it was out. Fantastic challenge from the coach here. Lucas has to get up again and serve. He has a little bit of a smile. Lucas has one of the most interesting facial expressions. Unfortunately, he's wearing a mask, which is, of course, his personal choice. But he's got these really wacky, goofy facial expressions that I wish you could see here. Great pass from Donny, just getting it high up off the net. And a little bit low for Conte, but Conte squeezes it through. That's such a fast big. That's closer to the Brazilian big. That was a very, very fast tempo back row set. And Wallace's knows he actually had that play read. He was just a little bit late to sealing the block with his hands. Lima trying to get something going with his serve. Quick play. That is tough. Fernando coming in, making a huge impact. Fernando might be the main reason why Brazil comes back to win the third set. Better hitting chemistry, better energy. What a great substitute player to have. Lucarelli, Brazil's best server, coming in. Brazil, great response. We'll see if they can maintain the same energy. Fernando earning his second star of the match. And Conte, did he get the hands? No, he's already walking back to his serve receive position. He knows he missed a block there. Looks like Conte was a little bit late to the ball. That's the disadvantage of taking such a long approach. Usually I recommend taking a little shorter approach so you can get your feet to the ball faster and have a bigger window to hit from. Palacios with the tough pass there. And Conte just squeezes it through. What great tempo from DeCheco. So that pass was a little bit low and off the net. DeCheco squares up. And one thing you should watch out for DeCheco's setting technique. He receives the ball on top of his forehead. And that's what allows him to change direction of his set so easily. A lot of people make the mistake of receiving the ball at their nose. But he keeps the ball high on his forehead. Fantastic day from Palacios. And again, they set behind the player. Power tip. Now, Fernando was stepping up for the tip read. That was actually a good shift. When the ball is inside and you're reading the tip, the middle back needs to shift to the right because the setter needs to shift up for the tip. So Brazil should have rotated a little bit to the right on that one. But great play from Conte. Good pass from Leao there. And recycled off the block from Wallace. And he gets a second opportunity, contorts his body again. And the reason why Argentina was jumping into the angle, because look at where Wallace's body is facing. He is completely facing the angle. And his shoulder is made out of some other material that's indestructible, because those movements on his shoulder. Okay, Lucarelli giving him some feedback on how he wants to set there. Donny with a great pass there. Even though the ball's off the net, everyone's in rhythm. And Lima does an easy no-look tool there. Off of Wallace. Wallace gets sets up. Okay, Wallace gets sets up just in time, but gives a little bit too much line and tries to recover with his hands. but not going to be good enough against such a hard big hitter like Lima. Conte's been so consistent with the serve. Not a lot of aces, but it's been in and decently tough. Great block from Soleil. So middles, even if you don't get a stuff block, if you can slow it down, he reads that play just in between his hands. Unlucky play. That's going to happen a lot with middle blockers. Middle blockers are responsible to take up so much space when they're one-on-one in the middle that they are going to need to spread their hands, which leaves the middle over the head open here. Wow, great pass from Conte. Awesome dig down the line from Wallace here. Out of system set to Leao. Easily handled from Conte. Back set, no. Quick transition to Palacios. And the fact that they kept everything fast in transition. Look at that, just above Soleil. He keeps the tempo high. Brazil reads that really well, but Palacios keeps the swing really high here. And Fernando gets up. He got almost the same height as Lucas. The Brazilian setter has some great jumping ability. And Palacios hitting his way into this match here. 14 kills on 27 attempts. And the hitting efficiency, part of that is the skill of the hitter, but the other half is the sitter putting you in good situations. Rare passing error from Lucarelli. High off the block. And they keep it fast to Palacios. Palacios with a power tip. That's been working well. But dug by Brazil. And Lima very disciplined in his base defense blocking formation. He stays on the net. Sees the ball cross over. Looks at Lucarelli. Sees that Lucarelli is not trying to go for this one because it's too tight. He jumps up and just slams it down with two hands. He doesn't try to go flashy and bounce it. He just slams it down with an easy block kill. And Argentina now with their first lead in a while, 5-3. Soleil jump float again to Lucarelli, struggling with that pass. Great dig from Pacheco. Conte sets him to set. And Lima, he is such a physical player. He is hit when he hits the ball is also a very heavy sound. Long frame, opens up, keeps it high into the seam there. That's usually Lima's favorite hit is in the angle. So Brazil had a great block setup, but when the ball is on the hitter's side, usually it's going to be advantage to the hitter to do what they want. Mauricio in for Lucarelli. And Lucarelli has been struggling with the pass there, which is very rare. He's usually a very solid passer, but maybe not as solid against a jump float. And when you have Soleil, who's so long and tall and good vertical, it's a downward jump float. Those are so difficult. They drop so fast. And Mauricio comes in and with a great pass there. And Leao able to hit over the block, but Soleil, wow, rare free ball pass from Brazil. And no blockers up. Wow, Brazil is just not looking like their usual dominant self here. So see how they get faked out. I'm surprised Palacios didn't try to challenge the line. This is how much Palacios loves the angle. Even when there's no blocker down the line, he continues to try to challenge the angle there. So if I'm Brazil, that should be the game plan against Palacios. Take away his angle. Now Mauricio has done his job. He's coming with a solid pass. So let's see if Argentina tries to target I think they're hiding Leao and serve receive. Yeah, they are. And Mauricio with another great pass. A little bit behind Souza. And Pacheco with a high ball set. And Lima trying to go for the high angle tool. Rare error from Lima. Lima is so good out of system. But he saw that the big Brazilian block was right in front of him, trying to keep it high again. But that is the risk you take when you're swinging that high. I mean, look at how big the front row is for Mauricio and Souza. So when you swing that high, you're usually swinging out. Leao has been struggling with his serve this match here. Solid pass from Donny. And look at that quick transition here. So DeCheco saw that the middle was not following Lucer. See how Souza's not following him, and that leaves a big hole to the right. And beautiful hands from DeCheco. If you look at DeCheco's hands, not only does he receive it on his hairline, he receives the ball with symmetrical hands, and he releases it with symmetrical hands. A lot of people focus only on the finish of their set, but it's how you receive it also determines the accuracy and cleanness of the set. Lima has been serving well this match. He's so good at targeting the seams here. He has a little bit of a step back jump serve right in between Thales and Leal. He serves it within the last foot of the court, making them wonder if it's in or out. Look how deep that serve is. And I love that celebration from Argentina. Great serve. Look at that. Well handled by Thales there. A little bit high for Wallace. Wallace usually likes it a little bit faster, even when it's that far off the net. And Lima on a great serving performance. Lucarelli. Okay, Bruno in for Wallace here and Allen in for Fernando. This is a good change. Brazil's down by 6 points. Hitters are not connecting. And actually, Brazil has been passing better during this fourth set. And Lucarelli trying to get warm here. So I appreciate that the Brazilian coach is not afraid to make changes. But he gives his players opportunities. He's given them lots of opportunities to try to earn some starting time. As you can see from Fernando, helping Brazil win the third set and starting him during the fourth set. Thales, easy pass. And quick transition right away. Look at that, Bruno back on the court, running his Brazilian team lightning fast. That's the Brazilian big tempo there. Look at that crush. And great finish. Bruno has great setting technique too. See how his hands are even on his finish. Wow, one of the greatest big plays we've seen in a while. That's a crush. High pass. And a lucky tool. I shouldn't say lucky because Lima keeps the ball high. And when you keep the ball high, good things happen. It's only lucky when you hit it off the blocker's head. Or maybe in between, rattling in between the arms. But Lima knows exactly what he's doing. And Bruno looks ready. Maybe he just needed a little break to refocus. Short serve from Palacios into the net. I mean, Argentina, I would say the serving has been the biggest difference. They missed a lot of serves the third set. This set, they're serving super tough. Can they maintain that to throw Brazil off balance? And Allen coming in with bombs. He came in last time as a serving sub, crushing it. And he crushes it again, but to the wrong passer. And Conte, he's not known as a heavy hitter. He's known as a fast hitter. Look how fast he gets on the ball and swings so fast high into the block. And look at how high he jumps, his whole chest above the net. Look at that celebration. This is the fire that we're used to seeing from Argentina. Up by 6 points here. Lucer sticking with the hybrid. Thales passing really well. And Allen, more of a traditional opposite. He has that fluid approach, whereas Wallace has that jump stop. Starting off the court, look at that quick two-step. And hitting into the angle there. And the coach looks like he was about to dig that ball. Or wanted to dig that ball. Lucarelli continues to be one of the solid servers from Brazil. Great serve into the seam between Palacios and Conte. That is exactly where you want to serve. Do not keep the ball anywhere near Donny. So on that one, Conte is trying to take it short to the right, and Palacios is trying to cover deep to the left. So I think Conte had a bit bigger read on that one. Palacios should have shot his platform behind Conte because that is the proper seam. Short, deeper to your left and shorter to your right, especially when they're serving a right-hander is serving from the left side of the court. And Brazil already cutting it down to a 4-point game here. Short serve. Oh, unfortunate miss there. But we'll take that. At this level, when you can serve twice, that is a very, very good serving ratio. Even if you don't get any aces, you are allowing your team to score 2 points for one of your opponents. Because now it's down to a 5-point game instead of a 6-point game here. Serving down to Leao continues to be the serving target. Wow, great poke. Does he get the block? Yes, he does. What a late blocking move. I always teach our middle blockers, keep your hands over the net because you might be able to block on your way down. Wow, that is in. This is something. This is such a great play. Wow, what commitment from Soleil. Top spin from Decheco. Short diving pass from Leao. And Bruno sets him in system. Look how far that pass was to the left. And Bruno is so good with his wrist. He does a quick flick. Look at that. Leao does a great job saving it. And Bruno does a quick flick in system. That is such... In system means you are setting as if it's a perfect pass. It's tempo. It's to the right location. You're not just trying to keep it high. And Bruno is so good at keeping his team in system, even on bad passes like that. So I think Argentina is challenging a net call, maybe from Bruno, on his rotation from his setting. Let's see who touches the net. I think the net was still shaking from the serve here. No, completely avoids it. Look at that, even contorts his body at the end. So yeah, the net was still shaking from the serve. And one thing you're always going to get in honest responses from Bruno. Bruno, he just seems like a good, solid guy. He's not going to lie to you. And he was just saying, nope, I didn't touch it. A lot of players will just lie all the time, and then they get caught on the replay. But he just seems like a solid guy. Good character, honest person, good integrity. And again, serving to Argentina libero, and you can't do that. Donny has been passing perfect and great diving block. You see how Bruno reads the angle hit and dives in, but when the ball is that high and hard, it's just going to deflect off. So Bruno makes a great blocking move there and just cannot get it to go downward. Lima's been having a spectacular performance this match. Big reason why they are up 2-1 sets here. And a telegraph set, that's rare from Bruno. Usually Bruno is much more deceptive on this dumping. Low middle set to Soleil. And force tip, good recycle from Leao here. Better set from Leao. And do they get a high ball swing? And Lima, no contest. He knows he touched the ball. He knows he touched the ball here. Look at that high flat swing. So intentional from Leao. So if you don't know Leao, he's actually Cuban, but he defected from the Cuban national team and played in Brazil for many years and acquired Brazilian citizenship, and now he's on the Brazilian national team. Good high swing from Palacios, but they read that really well. And Allen having to roll shot it because the set was a little far off the net. And that one too, a little bit off the net from Decheco, but Decheco's one-hand control is so good. I'm surprised they don't put any blockers on that one because they're going to have to free ball it over. And Argentina's probably going to convert on this one. No, Brazil does a good job slowing it down. And Allen just out. That is frustrating. Argentina had a chance to convert on that free ball. Maybe they could have passed that free ball a little tighter to make it a little easier from Decheco. Decheco's got to be one of the best one-arm volleyball players in the world here. And a little bit late on the block for Soleil, which is rare because that set was out of system, meaning it was more predictable, it was a higher set. He didn't get a chance to really finish the block on contact. And Brazil cutting it down to a 4-point game. And Argentina getting a quick wipe on the court, a free timeout here. This is partly for safety, but A lot of teams and coaches do that just to give their team a breather without having to use a timeout. And I love Bruno's focus here. He's breathing. That's one great way to relax your body and help you refocus and be in the moment, is deep breaths. Can Bruno keep it away from Donny? Yes, he does. He serves Conte, though, the other best passer. And they've been slowing down Soleil. Soleil has not been getting a lot of offensive success here. But angle swing. Oh, unlucky net played. Souza raises his hand and says, yeah, I got it. So Palacios has been getting dug a little bit. He's been swinging high, but into middle six. He needs to change the direction of the ball and follow through a little bit more away from his body or across his body, just so the middle back doesn't get an easy dig like that. So Argentina got let off the hook because Brazil has been better in transition during the fourth set. Every time they get a dig, they've been doing a better job converting. And Soleil has been doing some damage with his jump float, especially towards Lucarelli, forced to pass off the net. But Lucarelli is not ready for that. Is a rare mistake. This is how you know Brazil is just out of sorts here. Lucarelli very rarely is not ready for the big. He is one of the best big hitters in the world, and he was just watching his pass. He looks a little discouraged. Another jump float from Soleil. Is he going to target Lucarelli? No, he targets Leao. And another force tip from Allen here. Roll shot. Wow. Smart play from Leao. One thing that's great from Leao is he can hit sharp angle, he can hit over the block, he can tool, but he also has off speed. He's not just a meathead out there. He's such a smart player, and he's developed his professional career in Brazil. So he has a great relationship with these players here, playing against them and with them for so many years, and he's also adopted much of the creativity from the Brazilian style volleyball. And here Leao with his serve, see if he can get something going. Oh, he serves Palacios, but Palacios handles that decently well. Great high swing from Lima. Is that out? Look at that back set from Decheco. So Palacios needs to drop his right shoulder to angle the ball more towards the center. And the angle was wide open. Rare miss from Lima. Fantastic set from Decheco here. And Leao's doing a great job serving down the line, getting Palacios here. But Conte, one-handed set, forced power tip. Out of system swing from Lucarelli, who is so good. Wow, look at that dig from Conte. And the setter's forced to take a swing. He just roll shots in play. And great dig from Donny again. Fantastic bump set. But Lucarelli's solo block reading Lima all the way. So I believe he posts in the angle and then reaches down the line. No, yes, he posts in the angle and makes a late read and reaches down the line. And even when you reach across with your hands, he's turning his hands back into the court. And look at that celebration from the bench. So much energy there. Can Brazil come back? They've already reduced it to a 3-point game. It looked like Argentina had this in the bag. Another soft block from Souza. A great block there. And Allen there with a high swing. Conte taking the second ball. Down the line from Palacios. Free ball pass. And he gets him again. Wow, another great dig. Brazil is playing lights out defense here. Palacios cannot put the ball away. Argentina had 5 or 6 opportunities, and Brazil just dug the ball. Brazil playing another level of defense. This is what we're used to seeing. And defense is not only about just passing the ball well. Sometimes it's just getting in the way and keeping the ball alive and frustrating the opponent to the point where they overswing. They swing out or into the net because they feel like nothing is working. Great pass from Palacios down the line. And another stuff block from Lucarelli. I think Decheco should have maybe run the bick from Conte here. But Lucarelli, wow. Lucarelli shuts it down with both arms. So that's what we call that spread block or V block there. Lucarelli taking line and angle with a single block, knowing that he's solo. Great run from Brazil. And it looks like they have the momentum to come back and try to win this. This is what we're used to seeing from Lucarelli. Dominating performance, both hitting and blocking here. And is Argentina going to make a substitution because Lima, that's his third consecutive error. And all thanks to Leal's tough serving. Great serving run. Man, he single-handedly, Leal and Lucarelli single-handedly brought Brazil back into this game. It should be 18-16 now. Can Lima refocus from getting shut down? Can he get his team serving with his spectacular serving performance so far? Yes, he can. Is that in? That is a great serve. Good miss. Back to a 1-point game. Brazil within striking distance to take the lead. Souza with a jump float. Argentina should be able to handle this well. And Lucero, we haven't heard his name in a while. He's been playing really well in the first couple matches. Forced to pass off the net, out of system. And hoping for a touch there. Now Brazil's in Argentina's head. Do they have another challenge? And they're bringing Flogajin. 32, veteran. Is he warm enough to get into this game and make an impact? Every substitution so far has been so impactful from both teams here. Conte with a great pass. They need to run him on more Bix, but he saves it there. Great free ball pass from Souza and transition kill from Lucas. Lucas tends to do that fadeaway type of hit here. And Argentina just looks like they've lost all confidence. See how Lucas is drifting. I'm surprised Lucas has not injured himself. He just always looks off balance there. Maybe because he always has his teammates catching him. I think this change was a little too late because Brazil already has all the momentum. Maybe they could have made this change at 16-18. While Argentina still had a little bit of confidence and score. Another jump float. Pretty decent pass from Conte, and Pogajin gets his first set, but not fully warm. That's tough. It's always tough to get a swing off the bench here. Brazil now up by 2 points. It just seemed like 5 minutes ago, Argentina was up by 6 points. What a great comeback. Conte, oh, good help block from Allen. But that is illegal because the ball was blocked on the other side of the net there. And Lucero just crushing it. Sometimes just hitting hard, you might get a lucky tool, or even if the block is there, they might have trouble controlling it. Conte has been such a steady force on the team. Palacio's been a little bit inconsistent with this performance here. So we'll see if Pogajin can actually be a little bit more consistent. Oh, is he in? Palacio's back in. Is that high off the block? Lucero immediately puts up his hands and says, I got it. And Lucarelli putting the team on his back. Oh, great swing. So much accuracy to be able to aim at the fingertips there. To aim hard so it doesn't come back, but to also aim out and into the fingers. So consistent from Lucarelli. Allen has also made a huge impact from the right side. And very consistent serving. And Sanchez, a little bit shorter setter. Maybe that would have been a good pass for DeCheco, but that's tough. Is DeCheco going to get subbed back in? Yes, they are. And Pereira looks a little frustrated that he got taken out right away. Argentina could come back. They could come back. 19-22. If Brazil could come back from a 6-point deficit, Argentina could come back from a 3-point deficit. But they don't look mentally ready. They look defeated and discouraged already. And I would be too if we had such a lead. It's hard not to think about that. And Brazil is just on another level of confidence. Great pass from Donny. We've been saying that a lot. Can they get Lima going on the back set? They try to run Conte again. and fast on the angle. Conte so steady and so smart. You notice Conte doesn't get blocked a lot. He's patient on that last play. He hits it off the block, recycles it again, and waits for a better set. He's also an incredible passer, a solid server. That's what you want to see from your veterans there. And Lucer with a hybrid. Good pass from Leao. And Allen crushing it. Big broad jump, and he is fired up. He is excited to be here and help his team get back on track. 23-20. Brazil up by 3. This looks like it's going to go to a fifth set if Brazil can maintain their confidence. And Lucarelli has been serving really well. And look at that, as evidenced by Palacios. And Lucarelli puts his whole body. I love how fluid his approach is. He has a great backswing on his approach. He rotates his body and pikes his body during the finish here. Game point, Brazil 24-20. Short serve and to Donny. Great pass there, and Conte with a consistent serve here. I'm sorry, consistent attack. One blocker. He stays open to the court, points across his body for that easy line kill. And Brazil should be able to pass this and put the ball away. Pacheco, very consistent server. And look at that one-hand set. I think that was out. Oh, wow. Leao finds a way to get into the hands, and great save by Bruno on that one-hand set. We'll see who starts this match here for Argentina. Such a rare serving error, passing error from Conte. And look at that line serve from Lucarelli here. I'm surprised they would be serving Conte because Palacios was the one that's been passing poorly. But that's probably not going to happen twice against Conte. He is so good at passing here. He just let the ball get outside of his body line. If he can move his just one step behind the ball, open up his platform a little bit. Topspin serve, and Palacio keeps it alive. Lima, great high swing. Saved by Allen. Can they win the joust here? Lucas just standing there. Is that considered a block? Wow, great sprawl. And jump set from Soleil. Pancake from Bruno. Great Brazilian defense here. And sealed the block on Soleil. Look at that pancake from Bruno. You're going to get great defense from Bruno all the time here. And well-formed block. You see how the block is finished before contact. That was a tough swing. A little bit inside on the set. And I wonder if you can make an argument for the standing block as a block. So that could have been 4 touches there. Great response from the ace from Argentina. Pacheco, very consistent with the serve. He needs to let Argentina just block and dig their way in transition here. A little bit off the net for Leao. Leao's usually pretty good at keeping that in, but I think Bruno can get him a little tighter. And that's a big block from Argentina. We have Lima and Soleil. 6'8", 6'7". And Pacheco serving Leao, forcing him to play here. And Leao's been playing pretty well on the floor, taking himself out of defense. Great pass from Palacios. Great cover from Donny. And look at the effort from Conte. Free ball pass from Brazil. Can Leao puts that away there. Great defense from Argentina. Now, even if they lose this point, this is how you want to lose a point, with great effort and inspirational play, because that will fire up your team for the next couple points. Tied game 2-2. Can this game get any closer? Argentina winning the first 2 sets. Brazil winning the next 2 with a couple key changes. And Lima into the passing rotation here. They're doing a 4-man receive from Argentina. Lucas has got a pretty deadly serve here. And Argentina libero, solid pass. Great dig from Bruno, but Oh, another solid dig from Donny. He's just been on fire this whole match. And the set was a little bit far off the net for Conte. Good soft block from Argentina. And Leal so consistent. Oh, Lucas does make the cover here. And who gets the net? Conte gets the net. Great hustle play from DeCheco and the libero. Another one-handed save from DeCheco here. And Leal just crushing it. Oh, no. On the bottom of the net, not even during the blocking motion. Unfortunate, but that's okay. Conte has been so good this game. You can't be perfect all the time, and Conte has done so much more good for Argentina than bad. And you can hear how Leal is just hitting the ball harder and harder. He's trying to crush it. He really wants to finish this game here. Lucas actually has been pretty consistent during this game. And Conte going back to serve. Probably going to serve towards Leal, try to get him out of his hitting rhythm. Does he serve down the line there? No, he serves right at Thales. And Allen, even though the set was a little far off the net, Allen does a great job keeping that swing high and hard, skimming it off the block. And Palacios has been the serving target for Brazil. And Palacios left front, and Allen's got a great line serve. That's a bad combination here. But Palacios handles that very well, and running the big from Conte, haven't seen that in a while. And Lucarelli always ready to attack. That's what Argentina needs to do a little bit more. They did that in the first two sets, running Conte off the bic. But they've gone away from that, and you see how that play was successful. Even though Brazil dug it, it was not a good dig, and that forced a hitting error. And Soleil, one of the most consistent servers on the Argentinian team, giving his team a chance to block and dig the ball in transition to score. And Lucarelli struggling with that jump flow here, a triple block. I think that was a clean miss, one of the rare misses from Leal there. But Brazil might challenge this. It's only a 15-point game, and I think they still get 2 challenges. Nope, he's going to shake his head and not challenge it. And Leal knows that was a miss. Lucarelli struggles to pass the float serve. You see how that ball was passed a little far left, forcing Bruno to set Leal to the outside here. Hand pass low to Leal. Oh, almost dug up by Soleil. Ricochet, look at that block. It was set up, but just a little bit of a seam there. So you see how Soleil is falling back on defense. You usually want to fall forward or to the side. That means his knees need to be more forward to put the center of gravity in front of his waist, not behind him. Otherwise, you end up on your heels like that and you fall back. Because if you fall forward or to the side, you have a much better chance of playing the ball there. Uh-oh, I think Conte got his contact messed up. Maybe he got hit in the face. Contact problems, I've had that happen. Those are so frustrating because you can't see out of that one eye. Hopefully they were able to fix it with Conte. And serving Palacio again, he handles that ball well. Back set to Lima. And hard angle swing. Can he jump over the barrier? He does, but is unable to play it before the ball hits the floor. And it's good to see Lima back into the game. He has not lost any confidence. He continues to go back to his bread and butter. Hard angle. Probably a little bit too far off the net for him. You see how he lands awkwardly. But he's so athletic and so big that he has a big room, big window to set at. I think Lima needs to toss it a little more forward. There's still 7 to 8 feet between where he jumps and the baseline. Because it hits the top of the net, and if he just tossed it more forward, that would have translated the entire serve more forward. Would have been a great serve in. And that's what they were missing during the fourth set. They were missing his serve. And Souza with a decent jump float, but Argentina's been passing it pretty well. Just like that here. Can they get Lucero in the game? And they slow down Palacios. High swing. Can they get Lima back in the game? Yes, they can. And great swing. That's a great setting choice from DeCheco. He gave that set away a little bit early, started leaning back. And Lucarelli does a good job taking away the angle, but takes away too much angle and leaves the line wide open. And I think Brazil is just trying to use this to slow it down, because no one really arguing from the Brazilian team, because he's well behind the line. So Brazil is probably just using that as a tactic to slow down the game there. So right now Palacios is in the front row and Lucero is also in the front row. This is Argentina's weaker front row, because right now both of those hitters have not been doing well. So if I were to DeCheco, okay, Palacios rotated into the back row, so at least they have Conte. But I would still keep the ball between Conte and Lima, and they switch block here. So you notice where DeCheco switch blocks to the left, because I believe Conte is a little bit better of a blocker to try to get a matchup with Lucarelli. See how DeCheco, and wonder if Bruno saw that and tried to match up Allen with DeCheco there. What a chess match, but Palacios had a good read, just could not dig that. Tied game, so close. Great pass from Donny, and smooth dump from DeCheco. He has not dumped very much this entire match, and now's a good time to do it when they are not expecting that. And you see how when you're dumping, it's not even about power, it's about deception and placement. DeCheco puts a little bit of speed on that one, but it's still in the air for a long time. But he hides it so well. He puts both of his hands up. He faces his outside hitter like he's going to set somebody, and he gently taps it down. And Argentina with a 1-point lead. Lucero, he's been inconsistent in the past, but he's been keeping it in play. And what a fast transition from Leao here. Let's see if Argentina calls the back row. I see Conte shaking his finger at the ref. No, he's very clear. Oh, he's challenging the dig. If he has an early whistle. And Argentina should challenge this because they haven't used one yet. See if they... okay, they don't challenge it. So that means the coach must have seen it hit the ground. Leao, only 13 for 28, but his kills have been timely, and most of his missed hitting attempts have come from the first set. Solid pass from Palacios. And Lima, wow, with a solid line hit. Easily dug from Salas. Are they going to go back to him? No, they go to Conte. And Allen plays it off the ref stand, but the ref calls a lift on that one. That was a good call. But I like that the coach is not getting frustrated. You have to let your team stay calm. Argentina continuing maintaining their 1-point lead here. DeCheco, consistent server, probably going to aim for Leao. Down the line, forced pass off the net. But Leao's been hitting so well, and he loves that sharp angle hit, even when it's off the net there. So Leao can afford to not pass perfectly, because look at that. He's contacting that above the antenna. Even against a well-formed block, he hits sharp angle there, and Conte hesitates a little bit. Rare error from Conte. Conte is usually super solid from defense as well. Nice pass from Donny there. And quick hit from Lima. This is rare to have an opposite hitter just as effective on the left side as he is on the right side. He might be even more effective actually on the left side, because every time they're in rotation 1 where he's playing left front, he sizes them out right away. And rotation 1 is usually most teams' weakest rotation. I believe Argentina should be up 10-9. The score says 9-9 here. Pass off the net from Lucarelli. And, oh, high block from Leao. Leao brings the swing down just a little bit. Look at this block. See how they're finished. Okay, because we have Lima, Leal trying to challenge the line, and Lima and Soleil finishing their block as he's hitting. Leal probably could have swung a little bit more across his body to get the edge of the block or to get a cleaner line swing. Argentina up 11-9, 2-point lead. Conte incredibly consistent with his serve. And this is Argentina's best blocking front row. They get another soft block, but Leal just hits too hard for Argentina to control it. And that's how you know Leal is just a world-class hitter. He gets blocked. He comes back even more aggressive with a different swing, and he tools it off the angle there. Allen has not missed a serve yet. He's been also very consistent here and hard serving. Tough pass from the libero, easily handled by Allen. And another same hard swing from Leal that cannot contain his power. Look at how high that swing is into the angle seam. And Lima making the read, but like we talked about earlier, the hand is the weakest part of the block. And this is what we're used to seeing from Leal. Just dominant physical performance. Tie game so quickly, how leads can change here. Allen with another heavy serve. He's the one that helped force that out-of-system play. First service error of the match, but he's done his job. He's earned that 2-to-1 ratio scoring advantage here. And now Argentina back up by 1 point. What a fantastic match. And Soleil, can he serve into the angle? And Mauricio in for passing. Another heavy swing from Leal. They cannot contain Leal here. He's just swinging too high and too hard. And when Brazil passes well, they're running on all cylinders. So that was a great sub from the coach. Mauricio is subbed in for Lucarelli in the back row just to get a little bit better ball control. And as long as they have Leal there and Bruno setting, they can earn points from that connection. And Lucarelli is back in for his hitting and blocking. He's been blocking so well this game. Phenomenal pass from Donny there. Set is a little far off the net from Lima. They need to get him a little tighter because he keeps having to overrun the ball here. See how he's a little bit under the ball. And Brazil is finally shutting down the angle to Lima's favorite hit. Argentina now down by 1 point. If Conte is in the back row, I would run Conte on the Bic here. Palacios has not been hitting well. Run Conte. Oh, they run Lucer. Bruno slips on the floor but still keeps it alive. And Allen high off the block there. Conte in for the backup set. Can Palacios swing high enough to put the ball away? And he hits it down the line. Great swing. Most teams have liberos as the backup setter, but Argentina has Conte as the backup setter. Wow, that was a much-needed transition score. Everyone knew it was going to go to Palacios, and he still puts it away, swinging down the line. Now, Argentina needs a blocking point here. Lima with a fantastic serve. Thales easily handled. And another high swing from Lucarelli. You just have high heat from Brazil. DeCheco front row. Palacios and Lucer front row. And Brazil brings in their own subs to run the 6-2 to get a little bit of blocking. And Fernando's been doing great off the bench, so you know he's ready to keep his hitters connected here.
Brazil looking to shut down Argentina.
Can Argentina side out to extend the game? We have not seen Conte from the Bic. This is the time to run it.
With the serve.
They're going to pass this pretty well. Can they run Conte? No, they run Palacios off the block. Palacios has elevated his game at the end of the 5th set. So timely. Such a high, hard hit. And that was a good soft block from Wallace, but a better hit, just like Leal's been doing against the Argentinian block. And Ramos in for a blocking sub for DeCheco. We'll see who sets the ball in transition if they dig it, because right now there is no setter on the floor and Conte's in the front row, so you want Conte to hit. Oh, tough miss. Tough miss. That was a chance. That was a momentum builder from Argentina there. Now we want to keep our eye out for Allen. Allen's been hitting really well in this match, so Bruno might go to him in transition here. Brazil up by 1. Can they finish? Off pass from Palacios. Conte, that's the man you want to set. Just out. Such a rare error from Conte. Wow, great comeback from Brazil. What a phenomenal match. I did not expect that one to be so close, but I'm assuming every match that you guys are suggesting is going to be a very close match, because this is probably, yeah, this is the fourth best of 5 match that all the fans have been suggesting in the comments. So thank you for giving such fantastic suggestions. And I thought Argentina was going to really come out on top. Even during the 4th set, they had that 6-point lead. But what makes Brazil the #1 team in the world is not just their physical gifts, their skill, and their offensive and defensive strategies. It's their mindset. Mentally, to be able to stay in the game after being dominated in the first 2 sets, and then to win the 3rd and 4th set, and then to be down by 2 points in the 5th set to come back and seal the victory. The mental aspect, the grind, the toughness, that is what makes elite teams elite. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know which game you would like me to commentate on next in the comment section, and we'll see you guys in the next game.